Tonight, you will lie down in the dark and your brain will not stop. It will replay something you said 3 years ago. It will build arguments for conversations that will never happen. It will rehearse tomorrow, dissect yesterday, and invent problems that do not exist yet. And you will lie there, exhausted, watching it happen, unable to turn it off. You are not broken, but the reason your brain does this is far stranger than you think. Your mind at night is not malfunctioning. It is doing exactly what it was built to do. The problem is that it was built for a world that no longer exists. Go back. Not years, not centuries, thousands of years. You are a human being in the dark, and the dark is not safe. There is no roof above you, no lock on a door, no alarm on your phone. The night around you is alive with sounds you cannot identify, and every one of them could mean something coming for you. Your body knows this. Your nervous system has known this for so long that it is wired into the deepest parts of who you are. When the sun set, the real danger began. Researchers studying small-scale societies that live without artificial light, including the Hadza of Tanzania, one of the last true hunter-gatherer groups on Earth, found something that surprised them. Jerome Siegel at UCLA led a team in 2015 that tracked the sleep patterns of these groups across multiple continents. What they discovered overturned almost everything modern sleep science had assumed. These people did not fall asleep at sunset and wake at sunrise. They did not sleep in one long, unbroken block. They slept in fragments, waking in the night, remaining alert during certain hours, and drifting back down again. Their brains never fully switched off, not even in sleep, because the night was a shift, and someone had to be watching. Your brain inherited that watch. It inherited the biological pressure to stay alert when the world goes dark. And now, 10,000 years after you stop needing it, that pressure still fires. Not as a survival mechanism anymore. It has no lion to listen for, no fire to tend. So it turns inward. It finds the next most threatening thing it can reach. You. This is what psychologists call default mode network activation. Matthew Walker, a sleep researcher at UC Berkeley and author of one of the most widely read books on sleep science, describes this network as a set of brain regions that become more active, not less, when the brain is not focused on an external task. In the absence of something to track in the outside world, the default mode network begins to track you. It audits your relationships, it flags unresolved conflicts, it rehearses social scenarios, calculates risks, models futures, replays failures. It is not tormenting you for no reason. It is performing a function that once kept your ancestors alive. Social miscalculations in small groups were lethal. Being rejected, being wrong, being caught off guard by someone in your tribe could end you as surely as a predator could. The night was when that audit happened, when the day's inputs were sorted, when the social map was updated. Now the day is full of inputs, more than any human brain in history has ever had to process. And the audit still happens. It just runs on cognitive overdrive. There is another layer to this. Your cortisol cycle is wrong, not defective, wrong for this world specifically. In a natural light environment, cortisol, the hormone most associated with alertness and stress, peaks sharply at dawn and drops steadily through the day, hitting its lowest point around midnight. But exposure to artificial light, particularly blue spectrum light from screens, suppresses melatonin and delays the cortisol drop. Your body still receives a biological signal that it is not yet safe to shut down, that it is not fully dark, that the night has not fully arrived. So the cortisol stays higher than it should be for longer than it should stay. And a brain running on elevated cortisol at night is a brain looking for threats. It finds them in your inbox, in the thing you said at work, in the sound the car made 2 weeks ago that you still have not checked out. It finds them in the face of someone who looked at you strangely and whom you cannot stop reconstructing. Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett at Northeastern University has spent years studying how the brain predicts experience rather than simply receiving it. Her research suggests that your brain is not passively registering a problem when you lie awake at night. It is actively generating a model of threat, because generating a threat model is the default position of a nervous system that evolved in a genuinely dangerous world. You are not anxious because something is wrong. You are anxious because your brain is doing its job without the context that would tell it to stop. Here is the part that almost no one talks about. The content of your nighttime thoughts is not random. Studies of rumination, the specific pattern of repetitive, intrusive nighttime thought, show consistent themes across cultures and time periods. Across populations sampled in Japan, Germany, the United States, and South Africa, the same categories dominate: social belonging, status, competence, health, loss. These are not arbitrary anxieties. These are the exact categories of threat that determine survival in small human groups for hundreds of thousands of years. Whether your tribe would accept you, whether you were competent enough to be worth keeping around, whether your body was strong enough to survive what was coming, whether the people you depended on would still be there. Your brain does not generate random worry. It generates evolutionarily calibrated threat assessments every night, whether you need them or not. And here is what makes this harder to escape than most people realize. Fighting the thoughts makes them louder. This is one of the most replicated findings in clinical psychology, documented extensively in research by Daniel Wegner at Harvard. His 1987 white bear experiments showed that deliberately trying not to think about something dramatically increases the frequency with which that thing appears in consciousness. He called it ironic process theory. The harder you suppress a thought, the more cognitive resources get dedicated to monitoring for that exact thought, which means the monitoring system keeps activating the very thing you are trying to avoid. When you lie in bed telling yourself to stop thinking, you are telling your brain to keep a close watch on those thoughts. You are fueling the engine you are trying to shut off. The ancient humans who survived were not the ones who shut their brains off at night. They were the ones whose brains ran hot in the dark and caught the signal everyone else missed. They were the ones who startled at sounds, ran through contingencies, kept the social calculations active while others slept. You are the descendant of the ones who could not stop thinking at night. That is not a metaphor. That is biological selection. The lineages with the quieter night minds were more likely to miss the threat, more likely to sleep through the signal. The ones who made it were the ones like you. This does not mean you are condemned to lie awake forever, but it changes what the solution looks like. Sleep researchers increasingly converge on one insight. The goal is not to silence the brain. The goal is to give it something less threatening to do. Structured journaling before bed, shown in a 2018 study published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology, reduced the time it took people to fall asleep by an average of 9 minutes, not because it was relaxing, but because it offloaded the pending tasks list the default mode network was trying to maintain. It gave the audit something to audit: body-based practices, breath work, progressive muscle relaxation, cold exposure, all work on the same principle. They give the nervous system a real, concrete, physical input to attend to. They shift attention from the constructed threat to the actual present. Not because the past stops existing, but because the body cannot be in two places at once. Your brain is ancient. The dark still registers as exposure. The quiet still triggers the watch. But tonight, when you lie down and the thoughts begin their loop, you might recognize something you did not know before. That is not a malfunction. That is memory. The accumulated biological memory of every ancestor who made it through the dark by staying alert, by running the audit, by not switching off. Tonight, when you lie down and the thoughts begin, you will know exactly what is happening. Your brain is doing what it was built to do. It is keeping watch. It is running the audit. It is scanning for threats in the only landscape it has left. It is not broken. It is just still out there in the dark, listening.